Good evening, everyone. I hereby call this meeting to order. If you could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And the flag is located behind you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First thing is the citizens forum. I believe we have one.
Yes, Donna Severson.
Donna, if you could please state your name and your address. And you'll have to come up and talk into that microphone because we're not in our traditional room.
Donna
And Donna,
Severson.
just so you know, you have a 2-minute time limit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Clock. Donna Severson, 362 Cross Point Court. We just had a meeting, and the largest budget item in the general fund was $6.2 million, and it's account 250000, and that was the limit of the detail that was given on that entire $6.2 million budget. It's very difficult to make a budget decision as a citizen when you have nothing but one large lump sum. I remember when Allison and several of the board members came to our Village of Hobart board meeting back before the referendum, and one of the things that Allison mentioned was that your transportation budget was less than other districts around, and I'm just wondering, how would I know that? Based on the information that's given to me, because 3 times in the last year I have asked for information from this district, and the only thing that's been fired back at me has been a form saying, you know, you need to pay to get this information. It's like sending me a bill. My household over the years has paid over $50,000 to this district. That does not include my state tax and sales taxes, my state income tax and sales tax that also goes to this district. And I'm just wondering, how much money does a resident have to pay to get an answer to a question? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. I hereby move to adopt the consent agenda. Any objections? Hearing no objections, the consent agenda is approved by unanimous consent. Next item on the agenda is staff proposal. Is this you, Ally?
Yes.
Okay.
So tonight there is a memo in front of you regarding a staffing change proposal for this school year 23-24 to restructure our communications department due to resignation. So over the past few years, we've been looking at the communications department and the needs from a district standpoint. Due to a recent resignation, we're bringing to you a restructure. So rather than replacing the 1.0 P News secretary, we're looking at adding, per approval tonight, a 1.0 director of communications to better service the district. Bob is here with us tonight as well. Bob will continue on as the communications coordinator and really focus on the P News and other parts of communications and help continue to support the department. But this would allow us to further develop within social media, public relations, marketing. So really this is a shift tonight, but because it is not a support staff position, it is a professional position, we need board approval to move forward with this. Some of the big topics that we're looking into is, and needing movement within our communications department, is with our envisioning our future work. And you can see, if you took part in that event, you can see many of the parts in all 5 pillars has to do with communications. So this position would really help highlight part of that work as well. It would complement very well. So we are recommending the approval of a director of communications, a 1.0 position, and the restructure would, you can see the salary and fringe benefits of approximately $40,000. Looking to bring that position on this school year. Do you have any questions? One of the other things I just wanted to add too is this year and really the past couple years, the communications department we're very overwhelmed in, and as a district we're having to all chip in and help within that. So it would truly across the district help benefit. We spoke with our leadership team as well to talk about district needs and how this can benefit at the building level as well, and our leadership team was in support of this.
Where do they fit on the org chart? Where do you see them?
So this position would be within its own department, it would still continue to fall under Allison. Did that answer your question?
Would this person be speaking for the board in all communications, including the administration?
I'd clarify, give me a little bit more on that. So speaking for the
Given what's
board,
happening right now with the district, would this person be putting out communication?
along with me, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, that would still be, it'd be my right-hand person, right, there along with us, fashioning the communications, helping, being that frontline person that could get that out, correct?
What would the hiring process look like?
So the hiring process would be similar to any other position. We would gather a group of district individuals, representatives from different levels, have a committee, so there would be a posting both internally and externally for policy, just like any other position, and we would go through, probably likely 2 rounds, but that will depend on what the candidate pool is as well.
This is a new position for our district. We've never had a communications director, correct?
I believe we've had a communications something similar in the past.
So to my knowledge, it's always been a communications coordinator, so this would be a new position. It would truly be a restructure, so there would be, less secretarial duties and more hands-on in the buildings. This position, we would see certainly, located part of their time within the district office to help with those district-wide communications, but certainly be out within all of the buildings as well to make sure they're capturing district-wide, information.
Well, my thoughts are, if this person's gonna represent the board or speak for the board, could Heidi be at the table for some of the hiring process? If they're gonna speak for the board, could we have a seat at the table at some point in the hiring process of this person?
So typically, when it becomes, it reaches the board level, because this will be a contract, so the board will need to approve this, so we have to make sure it doesn't become a conflict of interest along the way that they were on the committee, but then also approving a contract. So I'd like to get, more, eyes and ears on that.
Dennis, they don't really speak for the board, they communicate the board's messages.
They'll be creating statements on behalf of the board, I assume.
But those would still be approved and run through me before they would go
Can you
to
keep
the
us posted on the
director.
hiring process as it moves forward?
Absolutely, if that's okay tonight, certainly.
Where do the secretary duties go?
So, the secretary duties would be shifted, we're looking, because of, resignation, we're looking at different efficiencies within the department. So Bob will really focus on everything with P News, so he may pick up some of those duties, but there'll be less and less of that and more of the district-wide, collaborating and, again, working with envisioning our future, working with all different staff members as well.
Yeah, and part of the secretary duties that we've been working with the past employee and Bob over the last year was kind of taking a look at making that shift. So we've been talking to Mr. Smith as well about because part of that time they did do some work for the high school office. So we've already had that conversation, and that's been absorbed there. So we felt like this was absolutely the time so that Bob can, put more passion and really make P News and move P News to we always thought on the hiring of Bob, of not just making it a flat newspaper, but how else are we going to elevate that newspaper and keep it going? Because we know the print paper's important. We know that people also need to receive that paper virtually. We know that we would like to have, we have some other ideas with that paper, and we've been working on that and trying to move some of those things forward. But then when there are other situations that really demand like that communication piece to take something different, and we are growing and the needs are very different in a school district now just for branding of the district. And Barb, I know you hate that word, but we talk about branding sometimes, because I know that was something that was a sales pitch, right? But we talk about that in the marketing and what happens in a school district and what we're looking at. Really getting out and celebrating and telling our story as a district, that we're not always able to do that because we are running a full newspaper. We are also trying to communicate out, and like Allie said, it does push some of the things that we really know are influential and important. Those of you that, the board was at our Welcome Back Day, how wonderful those videos were that we had of our kids in the video creation. It takes a lot of work. So those sorts of things are not things that happen in an evening. It's the collecting, it's the collaborating, it's bringing people together to do that. So we've been really working on what are you the best at and how can we highlight your strengths so that then we can make all of this department work very well.
So would they be in charge of the social media piece too, enhancing that? Okay.
Yeah, well, along with Bob, because Bob is a wealth of knowledge of where we're moving. But even with us moving over to a new website, we're a little bit trying to do things on a fixed income, right? So we're trying to make sure we're not busting the bank. We're also trying to alleviate some of the things that we have. We've run into snags we've run into before. And at the same time, we want things to look very professional because we're there now. And our parents expect that. We aren't going to come to a meeting anymore and just pass you a piece of paper. Our parents want more. And our kids are there. So we need to be part of that process. So.
And Mark, you've crunched the numbers, we're good?
Yeah, the replacement position and the 23-24 staffing coming in under budget, it's within budget for this.
Good, thank you.
And would the requirements for this person be more of a communications background opposed to like administrative assistant duties background?
Correct, we would be looking for somebody with, communications, marketing, social media, public relations, that sort of background.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the staffing proposal as presented. Any other discussion or question? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Ally. Moving on to the personnel reports.
So we have the personnel report just in case we had any late resignations or hires, but there is no need to report today for resignation, retirement, or hire.
Okay, great. Moving on to the August budget report. Mark?
Nothing other than minimal, noting that the October meeting will be the tax levy approval once those numbers are finalized.
Okay. Thank you. And Ally, the superintendent report.
Sure, I have a few things. I think I would like to just start by saying that I'm appreciative of the communication that I see some of my parents here tonight that have communicated with me. I appreciate you reaching out. I really appreciate the support that we are receiving right now. It's been good working. This has been a partnership with law enforcement. We really can't tell you much more than what we've been communicating to you. We are uncertain, at this point in time of where the threats are coming from, where it's an active investigation, and our main priority is just keeping our students safe every day and trying to keep things as normal as possible. So we just really, I feel like, I think I can say this, that the communication is not inundating us in the district because of you, because some of you have been really, really supportive out there. Our two local social media feeds administrators have been wonderful about closing that negative hate chatter down for us, and we really appreciate that. Our news stations have been wonderful in the area, and we have some of them here tonight, but they've been really supportive. They have not blasted any of our public schools or any of us, and we really appreciate that because this truly is about our students' safety and us working together as a community. So that's all we can tell you right now, but I want you to know that we just appreciate your continued support and your help with this. Talk to your kids. If you need help talking to your kids, talk with us. We can get you more resources. We can get you pointed in the right direction. Also, again, remind your kids to be vigilant. If they see something, they should say something. We want them to do that. That's a constant for us. So we're going to continue to work with our staff. We're going to continue to work with our kids. And thank you again, just for being supportive. And if you need to send me an email, please do that. And if I don't get back to you right away, I just know that it's been pretty crazy here. I just really appreciate the fact that I don't think Mr. Smith has slept in quite a while. You know, he's coming into the new district. So I appreciate your not sleeping and just handling things in a calm fashion. And I want you to know that we're here and we're in all the buildings. We've had paroling in all of our buildings. We're out and we're taking care of things. So know that your kids are safe. Keep sending them to school and keep talking to us. Okay? Thank you. I wanted to start with that because then I'm like, oh, I'm going to talk about all the great things happening in the district. But we do have some wonderful things happening. In the midst of all of this, we welcomed 56 kids, inducted 56 of our students into the National Honor Society on Monday night. It was a lovely ceremony. It was very nice to be part of that. We have some exciting times coming up here in the middle of October for our CTE advisory evening to be taking place, and I've invited any of the board members to come and be witness to that evening with us and see the work that we do together as a community, as businesses, and in partnership with that. And Dana will say, just make sure they tell me in case I need to post the meeting. I just want to remind the board that we do have our retreat next week on the 3rd, and we will not have a board workshop on the 4th due to low amount that we have going on. We're going to celebrate with our kids here at the high school next week with Spirit Week, and Friday we have a game. It's their homecoming, so this is a good time for them, and we want next week to be a celebration for them and for them to have some fun here at the high school. So we look forward to that. So we hope many of you come to our game on Friday night. And I don't think I'm missing anything else, but I also want to thank the board too for just being supportive and understanding. And I know you haven't seen me much. My principals haven't seen me very much because we've been kind of keeping, here in the village. So that's all I have.
All right. That concludes our agenda for the evening. Our next meeting will be our business meeting, which will be October 18th, and that will be back in the district office meeting room. We do need to move into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 1985 1D, F, and G. And we'll need to take a roll call vote to move into closed session. Dennis?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Heidi?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Barb?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay. We are then moving into closed session. We will not be making any action items tonight, so if any of you are planning to stay, let me know, because all we will be doing is moving into open session to adjourn the meeting. So if any of you are planning to stay, just let me know, and we'll come back in here. Anybody? No? Okay. Then we appreciate you coming to our meeting. Have a wonderful evening.